In Destiny, there lies an ancient order amongst the Guardians that hold a mystery and honor-bound lineage like no other, with tales of warriors cut from a different cloth that wielded immense power and used it to protect those that were unable to defend themselves, with lordly halls and symbolism that branched into themes of honor, tradition, and the willingness to stand your ground, to rise in the face of overwhelming defeat and secure victory no matter the cost. I'm talking, of course, about the Iron Lords. If one were to pass you by in the streets, you would bow your head in respect, knowing you were safe in the presence of someone that represented something so much larger than yourself. And then they all pretty much straight up died. But a survivor among them yet stands, upholding their sacred traditions and carrying on their memory for the newest generation of light-bearing protectors, by honing them like a blade to stand against the overwhelming tide of the darkness that threatens humanity by competing in the Iron Banner competition, where the greasiest of gamers bang knuckles to see which one of them can begin to activate a single neuron in the average vacant Destiny player's mind, and finally get a fucking zone. Come on, baby, you can do it. It's right there. Now, when Iron Banner was slated to return for Season of the Seraph, I was near frothing at the mouth, not because of the spirit of competition or the glory that was set on the table to achieve, but because Bungie once again tickled my Destiny loot pickle and busted out the D1 armor design. As a professional Destiny player since the D1 beta, there's few things that Bungie could do to get me excited. One of which would be giving a Vanguard member a fucking full head of hair, and the other being dropping a gorgeously designed armor set that you don't gotta bust out the silver for. The moment something like this drops in the game, you know Papa Rye is diving in wiener first. I'll grind all night, I grind all week. What's that? I don't got a problem, you have a problem. Send help. I would literally torture myself for a nice set of armor by doing the most evil and vile thing in Destiny, one that is sure to put you through the most agonizing existential threats, something that makes waterboarding seem like a fun family activity, and play almost 5 whole matches of Gambit. Keep shitting on Gambit, I don't mind it. Now I know what you're thinking. Papa Rye, wasn't Iron Banana weeks ago, and hasn't there been a plethora of things to do in between? And to that I would say, mind your own damn business. Yes, I missed Iron Banner, and in true Rylee Reloaded fashion, this video is fashionably late. But this video comes about because I forgot to grind it out throughout the week, and found myself right on a Monday night with only around 10 hours to fully reset my Iron Banner rank before the weekly reset happened, or at least get a full set of armor so I could paint that bitch with the glorious Hot Wheels color pattern and finally mantle my true potential. So I figured with this time frame it would make for a good challenge, and since there's some pieces missing from Lightless Part 3 that I'm still waiting on, I might as well cook up a video for it. So today we are gathered once again to pose the question, can you reset your Iron Banner rank in only 10 hours? So to start this off, with 10 hours on the clock until the weekly reset, I gather my most deadly of weapons and get dripping harder than your mother after I show her my god rolls, painted with the unbridled Hot Wheels virginity, and begin loading into Iron Banner, and immediately begin unleashing the cryosthesia upon my foes. While not the most meta loadout there is, there's something about this gun that I just find fun. Even though every game quickly devolves into not being able to take a step without tripping on a dead man's tail, and using a build like this is the equivalent of putting a toothpick under your nail and kicking a door, I just find this shit to be pretty fun. I love using unorthodox builds, usually the wackier the more fun, but this is one of the viable ones that I've seen. I also have a Midas Reckoning that boasts some impressive range. I mean, just look at this thing! The match goes pretty well, and while my kill count is high, and even though I made fun of this type of player in the intro, I too am one of the Destiny players that needs to break his conditioning and learn to cap a zone. Moving on, right as the game ends, I align the chakras once again, basically activating within myself the brain damage version of a Super Saiyan. I popped off right here. This combo is straight nasty. This was a strong start, with my performance being pretty good for a man who never caps the zones, and landing near the top of the board. Going straight sicko mode, I am granted the gift of 22 progress out of fucking 10,000. I'm guessing now you can see why doing this with my limited time is going to be a pretty hard task. Now to crunch some numbers, with this amount of progress, each match is about 10 minutes. 10,000 divided by 22 is a solid, holy fuck me, that's a lot of matches I gotta play. 454 matches in order to reset my rank with a no-win streak. At 10 minutes a match, 454 equals 4,540 minutes, which equals 75 hours of game time. time. Now, with only 10 hours on the clock, I think you can see why that's a bit of a problem. I'd have better luck of Mr. Beast giving me a fucking house than completing this on time. But you know what I always say, the cream always rises to the top. There's fat loot on the table, we can't dip out now. Gotta get this bread, gain these grain, eat this motherfucking wheat. Game 2, I load in standing at the front like an absolute unit, radiating overwhelming masculinity, just ready to steam their fucking hams. I hope the other team got ready to receive, because by the end of this match, they'll be calling a new ass monkey daddy. Actually, wait, scratch that, because much like Lucky, I ain't paying child support already. I'm in trouble now. The game is an absolute mercy, an ungodly blowout. The enemy team fought well, but since they bled players during the match, it was basically a guaranteed L on their part. Legao during this match definitely had enough of my freezing shit and bounced his huckleberries on my forehead. All I gotta say is, that's a bit rude, isn't it? Game 3 has me loading in, and this one as well quickly devolved into a mercy once again. But now that your boy has become gamer and shown his worth not once, but 2 times with huge mercies, Bungie descended with a huge gift. With a 2-time streak of play, I'm given a crisp 51 reputation and a keep going high five, champ. These games just aren't it. But seeing as I'm an anemic Destiny YouTuber, it kinda makes sense. Game 4 has me excited. Your boy is ready to bang knuckles with the best. There is nothing more glorious than combat with the most elusive and dangerous of prey, that being other guardians. So I cranked the slide on my little icy sidearm, and it's a mercy. Well, with that colossal W under my belt, I am now sitting at a crisp 141 reputation out of 10,000. These games are actually going pretty fast thanks to the mercies, but it is beginning to seem a bit of a lost cause because of the reputation games. But since I've already committed myself to the yank I shall! Now, the team in this game was absolutely unreal. It was Shaq Nasty what they did to the opposing team during this one. Not only did they have a team full of insane guardians running around with tempered virginity shields, but they also had this ass clown lurking in the background. When I'm at the very back of a fire team, I know that I'm playing with straight juggernauts. I want you to keep an eye on this guy. Guardian 1963 was absolutely fucking disgusting in this match. Them, and pretty much them alone, turned the entire battlefield into paste. The horrors they unleashed upon the enemy team even made me lean back in my chair. You couldn't fart in this match without Guardian smelling it.
I fear no man, but that thing, it scares me.
I ain't talking about that freak, all right? He's not here, is he? How do I get this fucking thing off?
One shudders to imagine what inhuman thoughts lie behind that mask and sustain cruelty.
My man is volatile and still just dives face first into danger. Now me, I'd see that as almost a guaranteed way to die, but not Guardian. Guardian sees right through it. Guardian sees it as a challenge. Laughed in the face of death. Just a straight up monster. Straight up monster. Now what this game told me is that Rylee, you might have some growing to do. Now, I'm a pretty good player, but even with that, this match made me realize that I would absolutely hate to go up against such an absolute beast of a player. At the end of the game, I am given another crisp 52 reputation and finish this off with 193 total. But little did I know that this was signaling the beginning of the end. Game 6 has us fighting in one of my favorite Destiny maps of all time. Fellwinter's Peak is a place that I called home back in Destiny 1. I lived amongst the Guardians there and sat with the wolves. I climbed to the peak and splattered my fucking brains on nearly every single rock on this mountain because Bungie's glorious devs hadn't yet discovered the secret sauce. Mantling was but a fever dream, dancing in the Guardian mind. You miss a jump, all you could do is float there and think about what you did.
Good. Repent. Yeah.
Vostok is a long-range map that I decided it would be great to try something new, so I dived into the vault and pulled out the Transfiguration, a weapon pretty much lost to time at this point, although it has some great weapon design. I mean, just look at the design on that beast. The curves, the allure. I then swapped some mods around and got ready for my fight, but there was nothing I could do to prepare myself for what came next, and upon loading in, it was there that I witnessed it.
Is that the Grim Reaper?
Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Your boy is a good player, and I may not be top of the line, but I can hold my own damn well and have a solid 6 flawlesses under my belt before they implemented crossplay, and I was a controller player on PC. But what Guardian did in that room was enough to make the goddamn Doomslayer pause. Nearly every encounter I had with Guardian had me feeling like I was nothing but a stain on his underwear, something that I think resonated with my team, because there wasn't a cheek left unclapped when Guardian entered the Thunderdome. And after a historic defeat, being an hour in on Game 6 with only 9 left left to go. I was given barely a morsel because apparently losses are worth less in Iron Banner, meaning that every time your boy shows his true clown nature and doesn't cap a fucking zone, come on, right, is more time that I have to spend inside of this game mode. But moving on to game 7, usually when I play Destiny, I am the chakra aligner, the great equalizer. But in this anime, I was the side character. Papa Rai and his Hot Wheels ass got folded like a lawn chair and smoked like a goddamn salmon. This wasn't an Iron Banner shield match, no. This was a slaughter. Once again, they placed Guardian 1963 on the other team, and he did not hesitate with taking us straight down to Flavortown. He was everywhere, and not a single soul in this match could stop this behemoth. Smoking them with the cryosthesia was my grand victory. I had a higher chance of having the stars align than landing this kill on this beast. I'd have had a higher chance of getting Elsie Bray to lift the restraining order.
That I spent like 5 hours getting that dog. I'm glad you guys all. Hey. Come on, man. You're on stream.
What? But despite my personal win, this was still just a nasty game and resulted in a loss. But for some reason, just as the game closes out before we head to the leaderboard, I once again popped off, massacring the field, and for my impressive score of 19 against their top fragger of goddamn, I am awarded a Thunderlord Catalyst and boosted 58 reputation. And for a moment on game 8, I was at peace because I knew that the pain was over, and I could rest easy thanks to Uncle Bungie telling me that good people of this Iron Banner match, hear me, we have heard your cries and are finding new challengers. But imagine how much my dick shrunk once I noticed this.
Good counter. Now hit.
And on the 8th match, the good Walmart Jesus said, let there be Geneva violations. I won't spoil what happened in there, because what happens in a Guardian 1963 match stays in a Guardian 1963 match. This video devolved into a fucking Guardian PTSD. The number spaces, what do they mean? On game 9, the good Bungie lords finally decided it was time to ease off the gas and give my asshole a little lubricant. The next game I play results in a mercy, but I noticed something when we hit the leaderboards, is that this game fucking has them. Isn't that funny? But what I actually noticed is that there's a huge disparity between the top fragger on the losing team and the lowest scored player on the winning team by a pretty massive amount. Now I know what you're thinking. That makes sense, that the team with the lower score means that they're probably gonna lose, but something felt off about these numbers. Most people I chatted with about their experience with Iron Banner told me it was good as long as they ran it with their clan. Most freelance players told me that they encountered some of the most vile matches they've played in the history of Destiny. At least in clan matches, you have a team to coordinate with, an extremely powerful tool that is a uniquely human trait. Communication is key, but now you tell me how the hell I'm gonna work with 5 randoms most of the time. I get teams that you could easily distract half of them by sticking canned juice in front of them that says concentrate on the label. This game I ran into a 4 stack of Titans, which made capping a zone pretty much impossible. I take my 60 points with pride, and damn, look at that score. You know, sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, it's hard being this fucking impressive. In game 10, Bungie finally said I've seen enough, and said that the ass slapping you just received lowered your skill rating so much that we're putting you with the Kinderguardians. That's right, baby, this time I was the Guardian 1963. I was annihilating the battlefield and turning every single enemy into a sticky wet paste. I had to get all that Guardian frustration out. Unleashing the Rylee beast, I walked into the Jedi temple and slaughtered those kids. The Bungie gods had decided they had to put me in a few more matches of getting my ass kicked as part of my kung fu training arc, and by trial of fire, at the end of this, I would be snapping spines like Sifu. Despite my killer performance, rage had blinded me. How can I be the guide when my eyes cannot see? You see, your boy once again did literally everything in his power to not capture his own in this one, closing this match out yet again with an impressive score. In game 11, like a metronome, I find myself flinging back and forth between I am a literal gaming god that all the Twitch boomy streamers would love to be around, the best player to ever walk the fucking earth, to I couldn't shoot a fart out of my own ass, which couldn't have been more apparent when moving on to game 11. I pull off some godly snipes and actually play pretty well, standing with the Iron Lords and making some greasy shots with my Thoughtless. But even with that, we still find ourselves losing this game. But I did the impossible here. I did much better and actually capped and controlled zones. Game 12 has me beginning gathering up my seasonal rewards and doing an Eververse engram unboxing. And holy fuck me, is that an exotic emote? Bungie is more likely to bust down your door and stab you in the kidneys than to give you an exotic emote. Quick, somebody give me a lottery ticket. With that in my pocket, that's how your boy knew it was going to be a good match. Feel good, perform good. Dos Sakis. I pretty much captured zones and defended my position when enemies rolled up on me. For this match, I busted out the Hot Wheels hand cannon and my Wastelander shotgun. I would kill for a crafted version of this gun, but after playing Dares of Eternity and grinding for the Forerunner catalyst, I feel like diving into a wood chipper would be a more enjoyable experience. But you know your boy is going to get that crafted roll if it kills him. I love this gun and recommend it 100%. When paired with Transversives and Icarus Dash, it is a nasty combo to unleash upon your enemies. I wind up sitting right at the top of the board in this match, closing it out with a W, and for my efforts, I am given 72 reputation. In this game, we play well, very well. I decided to bust out the bow and hand cannon, hot swapping my way to victory. The team was a well-oiled machine, but that didn't stop me from being blindsided by something completely that had nothing to do with the actual match. Because is that Shredder, my guy? Blindsided by Shredder from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, showing up to deck me in the nose. But after being jumped by the Foot Clan inside of a Destiny match, I pop a Titan bubble by using combined fire with my team and finally unlock a piece of Iron Banner armor. I put the Sacred Vanguard Unity colors on it, solidifying my place as one of the only Guardians to don the Vanguard shader. But being 2 hours in and on my 13th game, I still didn't know about equipping the armor in order to increase reputation gains, and continued on my way with the armor in my back pocket. Rewatching this, I find that ironic that I just shat on the D2 player base when I too am basically a fucking egg. But with egg prices how they are right now, I'll take that as a fucking win. Halfway through game 14, I decided to ditch the bow in favor of my Cryostegio once again. But this proves to not make much of a difference as this match is over before it started, resulting in a Mercy at a breakneck pace. Look at those scores! I don't even know what happened in this match. It was over so fast, and just to rub salt in the wounds instead of getting an Iron Banner drop, the game decides that I've been a good boy and gives me my 8th fucking blowout rocket launcher, both allowing Bungie to style on your boy and make him want to throw to cactus. Now this match highlights perfectly what I've been dealing with behind the scenes in this gauntlet. You see, Bungie's algorithm team for matchmaking were on some next level shit. I swear they finally tuned this skill-based matchmaking system so well that it paired me with literal copies of myself. This beginning part illustrates that perfectly. Nearly every single encounter I've gotten into during these games has been a trade. They got my brain mapped out to a science, star charted that shit and read me like a book. The amount of trades I had was seriously nutty. Nearly every single fight resulted in both of us becoming floor mats, transmog straight into an obituary. That doesn't stop your favorite skirt-wearing Destiny fairy from floating around the arena to turn testicles into icicles with his whack weapons and bizarre tactics, and close out the game with the win at a huge advantage. In game 16, we find ourselves back aboard the Dreadnought. One of my favorite memories was a line Mrs. Reloaded said to me all the way back in D1 when I first got her aboard the Dreadnought all those years ago, and our Guardian just barely makes it aboard the Taken King ship with their life intact. In the heat of the moment, after your Guardian looks back at the endless void of space cinematically, and the screen fades into a deep dark, I hear this adorable voice say, "Dreadnought, Shrednought," and that memory was permanently burned into my mind, and I've carried it with me ever since. I managed to do really well on this map, despite getting laid clean out. I busted out the Mida mini tool that went from level 20 to level 130 over the course of the solo flawlessing every dungeon in the game video. In fact, this match has me busting out the meta dungeon loadout almost in its entirety. Witherhorde, Mida mini tool, well, and a dream. That's pretty much my loadout for anything endgame at the moment. The most important part of this loadout being the fucking willpower. How are you going to find the answers? Is this meta gun worth you never ask the questions? The Mida mini tool does extremely well. Honestly, I think I understand why Guardian 1963 was bulldozing us over with his Ikalos SMG. I swear once this video comes out, I'm gonna eat, sleep, and shit Destiny until I have a craftable version of this gun. I still have mine from Escalation Protocol, and it used to be my main weapon. I just hadn't had the time to grind it out over the course of the season, even though I need it. Rolling into game 17, I barely have an Iron Banner reputation achieved. I'm 17 games in, and at 3 hours, I'm only at 1/10 of the way there. Not gonna lie, I was starting to lose hope that this was even doable. I get home from work around 6 p.m. Reset was at 10 in the morning, meaning that I had to polish this off by around 2 in the morning in order to get enough sleep for work the next day, and I was now sitting in near 8 p.m. and 1/10 of the way done. On a 5-time streak, wins at this point net me a 93 reputation, meaning that there is a lot of work to do. In game 18, we get a lot of trades, nothing too memorable in this one. Now this part of the video is sure to make my fellow D2 players angry, because it made Rylee fucking angry when I watched it back. I know that somewhere in my mind locked away is the fact that you need to equip Iron Banner armor to increase reputation gains. A full set with an emblem is enough to net you an 11 times boost, but in my haste to get this done, I did the unthinkable. I scrapped my iron chest plate, and you can see me fiddling in the menu, almost ready to delete the boots too, until until I just, for some reason, decided not to, thank God. And I keep them. I am 100% confused on why I did that. I rewatched it and thought,
Leave it! Leave it! Just fucking leave it! You fucking donkey!
in fact, I went one step further. Because that shit wasn't enough, after I scrapped it, I went and got a transmog template and used it on the chest plate. So I had it as an ornament, but not an actual armor for the buff. In game 20, anyway, in game 20, with my colossal failure out of the way, I realized when loading up on this game what I did. Thankfully, I equipped the boots, netting me a 4.8 times buff to my reputation gains. The game was close, but with my cryosthesia at my side, we win. There was a lot of DMT on this map though, but that's due to the long ranges that you're fighting at. Bringing a sidearm into this bad boy was definitely not the way to go, but goddammit, I made it work. In game 21, Papa Rai slings off ice everywhere. There's nothing too noteworthy in this game either, other than me sliding up next to this loser and popping a rip. In game 22, I tried something new. Void with a grid skipper, an actually good pulse rifle that came from the season of the Splicer. At least it would have been if I hadn't had a roll that I wouldn't wipe my ass with.
And I've got to say, in all honesty, it's the biggest piece of dog shit.
I'll admit that I was a bit demoralized after this match, as every 3 seconds after respawning, I was quickly acquainted with the floor as I was laid clean out. But thankfully, I got the bond from my last match and was now able to boost my rep even further. I think this match single-handedly lowered my KD to about 1.5. Normally, I sit around a 2. Not godly, but definitely a fairly skilled player with an in-depth knowledge of the sandbox. But I have a feeling with the meta shifts I haven't been able to keep up with, as well as with me locking myself away in either dungeons doing challenge runs or gnawing at Savathun's ass cheeks as though I was the world's most tolerant chihuahua, makes it so that I am not exactly as skilled as I should be. Now, for some reason, I called this file Becoming Morbidly a Beast, so I'm assuming your boy popped off in this one, and I was correct. The snipes were slick. The trusty Thoughtless combo worked so well on this map that no one stood a chance. I mean, just look at these grade A shots. I was a baller until, true Rylee Reloaded fashion, I walked off this ledge. Laughed pretty good at that one. We die with style here, boys. I prefer to die on impact, though. We still wind up losing, but this was a game that felt really great. Well balanced with great teams of equal skill, not insane blowouts. In fact, I should mention that word before they give me another rocket launcher. This is what peak Iron Banner feels like. The score reflected that as well by basically being neck and neck. And I've returned near the front with my kill-death ratio. I did pretty damn good here and I'm quite happy with my performance in game 24. In this game, my team was getting tossed around pretty well in the beginning, but as you can see, I busted out the Stag, Arc 3.0, and no time to explain combo. A nasty one to be sure. That didn't take away from the performance of my teammates. While I normally like to take all the credit for these fucking nerds doing my dirty work, after playing this many games and getting a Navy SEALs team, I was beginning to feel some brotherly love for my comrades. We worked hard, and even though in the beginning we were on the ropes, at the end we still came out on top. That didn't stop this kill from Bungie's netcode confusing the fuck out of me. I like how I die first and then explode. Remember, if you can't kill the god enemy, aim for their one weakness. The fucking netcode! But with a 5-time streak and a couple Iron Banner pieces equipped, the grind was going much quicker now. It was here I began to have hope that I could pull this off and gather the reset that I so desperately craved. And remember earlier when I was talking about a perfectly matched skill? Well, this match had me trading blows on every encounter, and I don't think I was the only one. Both of my team and the whole enemy team must have been filled with carbon copies of myself. It's like some sick nightmare fantasy where I'm getting viciously dicked down by my own shadow clone jutsus, all while I also give the raw dogging that they so desperately desire. I mean, look at this encounter. I'm gonna break this encounter down step by step. This shit happened all game, mind you. 1. I roll up on this lone titan. Look at him. He doesn't even know that I'm watching him shower. 2. I shoot off into the distance like a fucking donkey and miss. 3. We trade shots, but both retreat into cover to get another angle on each other. 4. We both know the other will be waiting on the other side of this wall. 5. We both whiff the killing shot due to flinch. 6. My spidey senses tingle my nuts and I can feel him rapidly approaching. Also, it's on the fucking radar. 7. We both slide right past each other. So, you come here up. 8. He gets caught on the wall. That's right, you guessed it. To a controller turn. How much more Rylee Reloaded can you get? And 9. I get clowned on like that all the time. And even though I only peppered him, it was jungly hair that wound up beating his ass. That shit is 1-to-1 with how I play and how I normally die. And the rest of the game was like this almost the entire way through as well. Game 26 goes by in a flash as we get a win. Game 27 shows me that love can truly blossom even in a dark place like this competition, as me and Sully realize that the game is over and we can put aside our differences just to have a meme, and I think that shit is beautiful. Game 28 has me going to a dark place as I lose what made Rylee Reloaded, and strap on my meta pants. This really was night and day. This playstyle felt greasy and a bit gross to play as, but that's because I'm a lover of the wacky. You either use your meta loadouts or live long enough to become a Destiny shitposter. If you have dog shit weapons and you kick my head in, I'll always be more damn impressed than if you busted out what was meta at the time. I proved to myself that the weapons really did make a difference here, because I think that this match single-handedly brought my KD up to new heights. That doesn't stop me from pulling a Rylee Reloaded and killing myself in the dumbest way possible, but goddammit, this is who I am. Now, I'm not trashing DMT users here, but all I'm saying is that you ain't never gonna be a Guardian 1963. I won't either, because that guy was a fucking monster. In game 29, I once again abused the DMT and top frag, turning this game into a mercy. I've joined the dark timeline and picked up the very thing that I swore to destroy, turning my back on the beauty that is the ice crystal. And then to show that it isn't just DMT granting me the ability to win, I get my ass absolutely beat in a glorious display this time. Although in this match I do put my well right outside of a bubble and watch my army beat the shit out of the Titan inside, slap these boys silly. Another great balanced game, but we still wound up losing, but I believe in the end it was all worth it. With how close this game was, I am fully committed to the idea that this was because that we were down a player, and I once again refused to cap a zone, landing my donkey ass right at the bottom of the scoreboard, but above there, top G. I finished game 30 with 2,531 reputation, and at hour 5. It was here again that I once again get doubt and think that this wasn't going to be possible. Armor pieces just weren't dropping, and at the rate I was climbing the ladder, I'd be lucky if I made the reset running off of 0 sleep for work. 11 PM had me having some serious doubts, had me thinking about D2 PvP as a whole. Now I know that some people say that Destiny 2 is a broken, buggy mess when it comes to PvP, but I gotta say that even though that may be the case, I really do enjoy it. I remember there was a time where I was annoyed playing D2 PvP because playing it felt like I was playing the most unbalanced game you could ever get your hands on, and if I wasn't able to keep up with the meta, I was basically forfeiting my right to play. But the more I played other games, the more I began to realize that chaos was something that I actually enjoyed. If you know what you're getting into every single match with very few variables, it's rare that things get interesting. I never know in Destiny if I'm going to annihilate the battlefield, causing the entire lobby to bow before the Hot Wheels Lord, or if someone running a damaged Traveler's Chosen is going to walk onto the playing field and show me why they don't carry consent forms. Or maybe I'll get the meta god who has min-maxed so hard he'll never feel the touch of a woman. But goddamn is that Destiny character impressive. It was there I began to realize that maybe the problems with D2 PvP weren't coming from the game itself, but they were coming from me. Maybe along the lines I forgot how to have fun with things that brought me joy. It was the same way with Destiny nostalgia. I wasn't missing the game, I was missing how I felt back when I played it. Even though there's joy in the way things were, in the safe and familiar, if you hold your head in the past, you'll never be able to build a future that you want to exist in. And the more I dwelled on thinking things were better before, the more the bitterness came into my present life. I started asking myself, why don't you take that old feeling and try to make new memories with it? Learn to laugh at the absurdity of the DMT users sniping you from across the map, or the whack armor drop rates because Bungie can't seem to dial it in. Happiness at the end of the day comes from within. If you give changing the way you look at things a chance, maybe you'll be able to find new joy in things that you'd have rather robbed yourself of, in things that you wouldn't expect. Now, I'm not saying that all the aspects of Destiny are perfect, because there is a lot of shit in this game that is whack, and I don't fault anyone who thinks that way, because I remember metas you wouldn't believe. Been using DMT for the past little while, but being meta isn't in my blood. I charged Savathun on Legendary with a damaged Traveler's Chosen. I no grenade shatter dive my way across the campaign and only use my super. It was time to retake the mantle and return to my true self. Return to Monkey, Cryosthesia, and Osiomancy, my love. Come to Papa, Daddy's missed you! In game 33, I do alright. The only thing that really catches my attention is the fact that there are mommy milkers in this lobby, and that the game gives me another fucking blowout. I swear to God! In this game, I am popping right off, slapping the enemies around. I even managed to kill a Titan within their bubble using stasis, but that story ends in another kill and getting fucking Kamehameha off the map.
Is this the new scariest item in Fortnite? We have the Kamehameha.
After this game, it looks like my luck finally started to turn around because the Bungie gods decided to give Papa Rai yet another chest plate, meaning that I was granted yet another stack to my reputation boost. I give mommy milkers a slap and close out game 34 with a chest plate and 3,033 reputation. In 35, me and my dinky little sidearm got nasty and did some serious war crimes inside of that Thunderdome. I mean, just look at these disgusting plays. Everybody says that they can take the Cryosthesia until it's time to deal with the Cryosthesia shit. Combatants in there learned real quick that if you mess with the beef, you get the comp, as Rylee was stacking straight 90s. In game 36, I once again returned to slap the boots off of these fools. Something about this time frame had extended my PvP-ness, and what I did in there could only be considered unholy. And even though know I played like back in Gangster, I assure you that this was 100% legit. How, you may ask? Because even though I was a straight killer, a goddamn felon, pop, I was still sitting pretty right at the bottom of the board. God damn it, Rylee Capizone. In game 37, the same type of thing happened. Although this one was a loss, I still fought very well. Game 38 has us against the same team, resulting in a mercy. I put up the best fight I could, but you do win some and you do lose some. Game 39, for all the unlimited power I wield in these matches, I still find myself at the bottom of the board. I slapped this match straight silly though. It reminds me of when I played Battlefield 1 with Theory and Jin. Theory was a medic and always found themselves at the top of the board, because if there was an objective slightly in danger, Theory would have already been up its ass. We were such an effective squad in that game because I was the enforcer, and he was there to pick my donkey ass up when I inevitably died. My reaction time and aim are pretty stellar, but when it comes to strategy, do I look like a fucking nerd? Now in this game, while I do decimate the battlefield, there is someone in here that is an interesting player. I love it when I meet players in this game who do some wacky shit. No one likes the Sweat Lord, but that guy who emotes at the end of the game, or shakes his head no and runs away even though he could have easily blown your head clean off your body, is always a gem. The big characters I've met in D2 who have stuck with me are Be Strong 80 from the Shatter Dive No Grenade video, for being an absolute gem and reviving me at any opportunity, just taking on a saintly visage and going out of his way to lend a hand to someone in need. Guardian 1963, for being a straight up living god and massacring nearly everyone he came across with an Ikelos SMG. That shit is wild. Sully, for sitting with me and having a bit of a meme at the end of a game, even though our Romeo and Juliet story made it so it was never meant to be. And finally, we find ourselves playing with another such Guardian. I've got my own Icorda's hidden notes on Guardians. Keep an eye on Controller Freak. They were getting their ass handed to them this match, but after the enemy is decimated, I mean, just look at the way they charged my pillar and not a single one of them walked away. We close out this game with 4,100 reputation. While the gains are pretty good, they are still nowhere near where I need in order to complete this before I only have 30 minutes of sleep for work and walk in like a depressed zombie. Game 40. We already hit quite a few games, but I find these longer videos kind of fun because I get to mess around and just talk about neat players and plays that I've made throughout my time trying to grind for armor or grind for some reputation. I love Destiny 2, but rarely do I have things to grind for. Right now, at the top of my bucket list is an Ikelos craftable V3 and a Wastelander shotgun. Both of these would make me P. White. With my Luminarch and Hot Wheels hand cannon combo, I do pretty well in this arena. I want you to keep an eye on Controller Freak. I'm gunning them down and having no problem holding my own when they roll up, but you'd be surprised at how quickly the tide can shift, especially when you're dealing with other Guardians. We finish off Game 40 at 12:30 with 4,280 reputation. Now Game 41 is when Controller Freak turned into the scariest thing that I've seen in a long time. Nearly every corner I rounded, they were right there, and stopped me in nearly every twist and turn. It was like I was dealing with a fucking SCP. It was honestly kind of impressive. They would hit me with a hand cannon while poking a pixel out across the map. When I got close, he turned me into a unicorn with a blade to the forehead. They were everywhere. I don't know if I accidentally said their trigger phrase or something, but I accidentally activated the fucking sleeper agent inside of them. He broke his One Punch Man limiter and just started breaking femurs everywhere. There was some nasty shots with a knife. There was some nasty shots with the Rose hand cannon. I don't know what I did to play with his nerves, but I am almost 100% convinced that the ethereal spirit that controls both Guardian 1963 and Controller Freak took over and finally said, "Move over, bitch, give me the controls. You were a nub scrub before." What the fuck is this? Both Bungie and Controller Freak demoralized me, because not only did Controller Freak give me one, but Bungie also gave me a fucking blowout and signed my application for a brutal and severe beating. In Game 42, I realized that while Controller Freak was a monster when it came to killing other players, they were actually pure ass to have on your team. In a game mode like this, because much like your boy, they wouldn't know an objective if it was glued to their armor. That didn't stop them from continuing to dunk on everyone while contributing as little as possible to the team. They were literally me if I was a bit more efficient. It's fucking awesome. Game 43. The next game is nice, and is a nice and even game. Bungie finally decided to rip tablecloth out from underneath me and leave the dishes intact and get me away from Controller Freak, granting me my freedom to reign supreme once again. There was only one useless killing machine to be had in this Thunderdome, and it ain't me when that big dick Bazoozo walks into the courtroom. This next game was a breeze compared to the ass whooping I just received not but 3 minutes ago, and allowed Papa Rye to flourish. I get some good kills, had a nice fun match, and finished it off with a reputation score of 5,080. Game 44 is a bust, but Game 45 has Papa Rye making his return. I took the gloves off and started spanking. I get this slick multi-kill and lose the game. Game 46, we bring violence. I roll in like an angel of death. I got a little gross in in this match and was really feeling my oats. But even with that, I pull a Rylee and don't reload on the zones, causing us to lose the game. But father, I craved violence. I get a bond for leveling up my rank and hit 5,740 on the reputation meter. Game 47, I finally realized that equipping an emblem allows me to boost my Iron Banner rank to max, 2 times 11, finally reaching that peak effectiveness I so craved. I mean, sure, it took me nearly all my time and about 47 games to realize that I could have probably cut this in half by fucking reading, but this game has some crazy plays. Game 48, Siegfried and I began our rivalry. I think it's because I was kind of playing like an asshole and freezing everyone every 5 seconds. Can feel a bit greasy when you get immobilized. It's funny how these sorts of relationships pop up in PvP. Both Siegfried and I carry this into the next 3 games as well, trying to dunk on each other as much as possible. Game 49 is a neat one. I can see progress is being made, and I can tell that I had some hope building because I titled this video, "The End is Near," and begun this match with 6,180 reputation points. So close to our 10,000 goal. I still haven't seen 90% of the armor pieces, but here is hoping. There's not much to this game as it's pretty standard. Finally, we arrive at game 50. I think it was around here that I started to fatigue. Sometimes I wish I didn't have my mortal limits, or had to grind to survive. I told some people in the Discord that if I did videos full times, you guys would have trouble getting rid of me. I'd be in your fire teams 24/7. Now forget the fire teams, I'd be in your closet. You'd say, "Bah, my help, there's a 6-foot man that looks like Jesus if he was sold by Walmart in my closet." And she'd say, "You donut, we already have target Danny DeVito." No way you'd have 2 people in your closet, you f***ing loser. And when she leave, there I'd be, caressing your life-size cutout of Danny DeVito in your fucking closet. You know, the more I read my own scripts, the more I have to think, who let me write this late? Because I was writing this, for some reason my PC was having a good day, and I don't know if the spirit of Power Color came back and just said, "I'm a crash now," and deleted 90% of my progress, causing me to have to redo it again. It's late right now. But we close out the game at 2:30 in the morning at 6,725 reputation. You can tell at this time the tiredness was really starting to take effect on me, because not only did I take off all exotics, I decided to slap on a pyramid head mask and the Soviet Russia coat.
Was it fucking cool? Absolutely was fucking cool.
Because this match was brutal, with brutal outcomes. I did extremely poorly, but goddamn, I was styling when I did it. Fashion over function, baby. On game 52, I play pretty defensively. This isn't brain dead enough, though. We need walls to smash our head through. I know I've seen a lot of PvP videos where I swear that 90% of the things I've shown in this video would probably be edited out. I take these things as part of the journey, though, because I'm not perfect. Life is messy. People are messy. And you're goddamn right that your boy is messy. Every single death, loss, and victory I face are part of this journey. It's not about failing and losing along the way. It's about actually starting, which is more than enough to make you as real as it gets. I've met people at the top of the mountain that stare down at you like you're subhuman, as though you've never poured more heart than they'd ever hoped to have into something. The mountain looks pretty steep when you're staring at it from the bottom. If you've seen my challenge videos, you know that every small victory comes with thousands of smaller steps, thousands of smaller defeats, and thousands of brain damage plays that have a chance to lead you to freedom. But you tell me which one is more impressive, the one who talks to you from the top as if they've always been there, or the one that walks the journey with pride and isn't afraid to wear their trash moments. I'm no big streamer, I'm no giant YouTuber. I've been hungry, I've been poor, and I've rationed my fucking dreams on hopes and prayers, and I'd still prefer to sit with you in the middle of the road, right here where we're at, reminiscing about the good times, than find myself a gift at the top of the mountain. The difference between us and them is the fact that we're willing to do what it takes, to hold true in the face of our defeats, to take them into ourselves and rise against the current. And I've said it thousands of times before in many of my melancholy speeches, but all I've ever wanted to do is see you rise on your own terms, and rise with me. And brother, if that ain't good enough for anyone else, well, it's more than good enough for me. Now what do you say you stand with me once again, and let's finish off this Iron Banner, because I'm fucking sick of this shit. All in all, I had a good time. I haven't played PvP in a while, and I forget how much of a good time you can have if you just like let go of your inhibitions. Game 53 has us doing well. We still find ourselves getting steamrolled. I banished this well-lock to the Shadow Realm. Your move, said a warlock. I spawned 2 guardian goobers and placed my balls face down on your neck. Game 54 is a historic win, bringing us to 8,013 reputation. So close to the goal, but at this mark, we find ourselves 9 hours in, with only 2,000 reputation left to gather. The goal was within sight. It's way past the time I'm supposed to be up. Normally I sleep at 12 for work, but I'm willing to push that mark to 2 a.m., as I can somehow still function with only 6 hours of sleep, sometimes even better than if I get a full one. But here I am at 3 3 a.m., ready to finish this. In game 55, I pull out the Mida mini tool and make good use of it inside this match. I'm sliding around, slinging death off. I storm a well and wind up killing both occupiers of it with help from Nova Bomb. Even though I was 90% fatigued at this point, I was still willing to perform until this was done. I slaughter the entire team and yell out, "Who's next?" at 3 a.m. I'm sure my neighbors love me. Game 56, I finally regain the brain cell I shed when I equipped the Pyramid Head mask. Damn, I wish I could just wear that in normal gameplay and have a power level on it, because it looks amazing and I love unique armor. That, or I could even use the chicken head. In this game, I find myself bringing honor and glory to the only other 3 Guardians that put on the Vanguard Unity Hot Wheels shader. I swear, even after making videos, I've only ever seen 3 other Guardians in the field that weren't part of my Discord server wearing this over the course of the entirety of D2's lifetime. It's about as rare as getting a large gift of bright dust. People swear they exist, but I bet those people also believe that the Earth is flat and that there is one-shot protection in Destiny from falls. I see you writing in the comments, don't you dare at me, I have mountains of evidence to... Game 57 and 58 are very standard games and go by without anything amazing happening. There's only so many ways you can say either you got your nipples twisted or annihilated the battlefield with ease. And at this point, I pretty much expended them all. In game 59, I finally decide to switch things up and equip my Devil's Ruin. I loved this thing before. Used to be my main PvP weapon. It's honestly lethal. Sidearms, especially the exotic ones, are extremely slept on inside of the meta. I use this newfound power to vaporize Kyle the Wall Puncher, which is a great name. This gun was honestly extremely effective, allowing me to mop the floor with them. I think if I mained this 3 or 4 matches ago, I would have been done Iron Banner already. Game 60, for the sake of grinding normally, you don't want to lose a match thanks to the lower point gain. But I loaded into this match and thought, there is a god, because the moment I took a step, I was granted a mercy. 1 to 67, man, this was throttling. These people were throwing. Words cannot express, though, how happy I was when this showed up. It was so late that everything that didn't allow me to sleep was painful. The time was now 4 in the morning, and I was pretty exhausted, and had to be up in 4 hours. But when I set out to do something, I will do everything I can to finish it. Failure is not getting knocked down, but staying down. After all the pain and strife I've suffered at the hands of my fellow Guardians, over the course of these past 10 hours, I was finally nearing the end of my journey. The last 2 matches before I was at the finale of my ranks. I think these games couldn't have been a better summary of my entire experience. Game 61 was such a strange one that left me perplexed at what was going on. I meet these 3 gems. One tries to flatten me against a wall, but immediately initiates the, "You wouldn't hurt me, I'm just a jokester, a meme guy." Urality and I emote and commit the sacred friendship dance. I ask them to follow me to the edge and knock me off, but they lose interest, and madness rolls up to sword swipe me into the pit. I love this shit. It is just whack. Not a soul taking this seriously. It was here I once again was in tune with Destiny 2. I looked off into the distance and allowed myself to see the beauty in this game. God damn, this game is beautiful when you take off your HUD. Ooh! Ooh! I got so many clips of me just yelling, ooh, in different ways. Petition to make Rylee release the ooh file. We close out the game at 9,803 reputation, and as you can see, I took it well. I load in, and Lord Salami calls me a titan.
Cabal warriors value strength, Titan. I can think of no better example than you.
I think he's becoming senile because I'm a warlock. He should probably get that checked. This game is a stomp fest. We lost gloriously. There was not a win in sight. The perfect way to close out my Iron Banner experience. The best part about this match was that I got to vaporize some people. I shot my gun in happiness, knowing that the journey was finally over and that we can rest now and finally put down Iron Banner until its next return with some better armor. And for my historic loss, marking the end of my journey, I am granted another fucking blowout. Achieving glory, a staple of the Iron Banner. Something I never know if it's possible. This was a harrowing journey. I failed resetting in 10 hours, but I did manage to complete it at the end. I sacrificed sleep, but in the end, I did it. I still wasn't able to get the helmet to drop. I had every other piece of armor but the helmet. Thankfully, after clearing out my engram storage, I can head to Saladin and pick up all my Iron Banner engrams and roll the dice for one more chance to get the helmet. I walk to Raul and begin opening them. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Just give daddy a helmet and the nightmare, please. And on my very last Iron Engram, Bungie smiled upon me with pity and said, "My son, you have trifled for long enough. The grind is now over." I could finally finish my journey. I held reset on my rank, and as the rank reset, is that a shader on fucking level 2? You gotta be sucking me. Not only that, it is sick as fuck. Leave it to Bungie to put the most grade A shit on the most harrowing things that that you have to do. I want you to put your balls in this vice grip. Like, no, I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it. I'll give you a shader. All right, put him in. Sign me up. It changes the clock to chainmail. Well, at least now, when Iron Banner returns, I can grind it out and not have to be a reset behind. Meaning that if, as long as I remember and actually grind it out this time, I should be able to do it. That isn't gonna stop me from hugging my toaster in the bathtub, though, after this video closes out. But thankfully, Iron Banner will be back soon, and we can try this once again. And as I walk towards Zavala to get my cinematic ending shot, I find myself sentimental. This is a great place to have our finale, and again, it is at a crisp morning that we find ourselves staring at the Traveler to say our goodbyes. At a journey complete and well fought, I paint all my armor blue and orange, taking up the mantle I fought so hard to achieve. It's strange because in normal gameplay, I don't usually feel a sense of accomplishment when I unlock things, but when I've recorded them and poured a good amount of love into something, I truly do find myself happy that I undertook the journey, and even happier that I get to share it with you. And with our Iron Banner mission complete, me being concerned because I can look to my right and see that the sun is out, and I have to go to work, and it's fucking 6 a.m. I did the impossible and reset my Iron Banner rank in only 12 hours. It's at this moment that I would like to thank my patrons for helping me put together Lightless and these videos. Pretty much everything goes back into my videos, so I am honored that you would lend out a hand to aid me in this. I'm slowly opening up my backstory in these videos, getting that Rylee lore as you go through them. Every sappy story I tell is a lesson I've learned along the way. So when I say that you guys have done a ton for me, I really do mean it. I want to give a huge thanks to Bilbo, James Hardy, Lude02, Tolly, Riley from Berta, Stephen Wagner, Zabiar, Ibrahim Al-Tweri, Grumpy Grandpa, Jonathan Schultz, Arrow GLPH, Ixis, Fanbuscus P, Fanbuscus Pie, what the fuck am I on? Dem Dirty Blues, Major Brain Damage, Fellow of Culture, Geopolichinelle, Octa 6K, Insert Name Here, Alex Smith, Ahmed Albashri, Zombie Fox, Conquer Reloaded, Jack Mage, Arik McMire, Saint of Good RNG, please bless me. I have zero luck. Did not spec into that at birth. Asclepius, Zynum, Pathetic Mango, Momo No Legs, It's Game Boy 365, Goose 28, Gucci 28, Lee, Woodman the Splintered, Not a Cardboard Box, Magneto, Your Friend Steven, Sir Depresso, Chris Haley, Micah, US Navy Squid, Luke Sturch, Enter Your Name 94, Sharky, Matt Herrick, Later, Gamma Rad, Cameron Scholes, Mr. Captain McDaddy Clutch, the amazing Rycon 6, Zuppel Tuppel Tupper, I hate you. I love this name, don't change it. Actually, make it worse. KXNG Kitty Bitty, Garrett Kane, Demetrius, Pepsi Main, Magneto, A Flat Surface, Unsert Judd, NT Pin Hero, The Cosmic Essence, Arliss McGuire, Zarin King, Sensei Smoles, Mordaunt, T7 Code 99, IB Stevie, Jonathan Blaylock, Cozy, Danks Manager, Smazzy Wazzy Mozzie, Eamon Smith. He hit the top of the spire and folded himself over it like a patio umbrella. A shill wine left him while Mattel drifted over. I love your shit, Lizard. I love it. Write me a novel. I'll narrate that shit. Riley Sheldon, J Lack, Azure Knight, Lone Ranger 2412, Capone. Just pay the man already. Where is my switch? I need more Capone lore. Tekka Sovan, who won that contest. I still have your damn mug. Man, I gotta ship some shit out. Dank Devastation, your lightless provider. I really want to see that project finished, you glorious bastard. Zerx 14A, Max C, X9, 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 Ben Stanfill, Hecate, XD7228, Kevin Noda, Fish, Eden's Gate, your boy Gamer Weenus, Delegator Volkeen, Thrumund and Dragon Waffle. Take your damn money back. Thrumund, I'll get you the shirt. I swear, I still gotta ship things. God damn. I should never do merch runs again. You know what? We'll outsource. Outsourcing. Merchandising. Rylee Reloaded billboards. Paint. Everything. Hot Wheels Enthusiast. Kefnet the Useless. Nathaniel Farmer. CO Camo 3. Crimbo the Undying. Madeline Celestia. Bogos Binted. Super Steven the very same. Mondo 117. James Escalante. Samarchi Descopper. Xavier Human. And Fufu Akio. You guys are amazing. And honestly, I couldn't thank you enough for everything you've done. I've got a list here of everything that you guys have helped me get for YouTube that I would love to put on the Patreon. So you guys aren't just like, man, he's just eating the money. I really want to let you guys know that I'm making use of it to work better on YouTube. And hopefully everything comes to fruition in the end. And you look back at me with something you can be proud of. I mean, just look at everything we've built so far. This community is amazing. And I couldn't have done it without your guys' help. But remember, you could all take your money back and I'd be like, shit, I'd still be doing it. I'd be doing this shit for free. I did it for 2 years. I'd probably still be doing it. Could have there was a time where there was only 10 alt accounts and they were all dumb just watching me. I want to say thank you all for watching. This video was fun. I had a lot of fun recording this. You can't tell I'm laughing at the shit I wrote in here. It's just whack. But I've been Rylee. Thank you for watching, and I cannot wait to catch you in the next one.